Hi everyone, it's Hannah from Hand Jam Crochet, and today we are making the Starlight Sweater together. Now yes, I got carried away, and yes, I've made lots of different versions, but for a very good reason, because I want to show you how adaptable this pattern really is. Now we use the overlay Mosaic Crochet technique, which is so much easier than it actually looks, to create this stunning yoke for the sweater, and then from that you can make it absolutely anything you would like it to be. Now you'll see from all the images that there are lots of different versions, and I have added neckbands for some of them. I have done short sleeves with cuffs here. I have left off the neckband for this one and added 3/4 length sleeves and no cuffs. And then for this black one, I have gone for everything. I have added long sleeves with deep cuffs here and a neckband cuff here and one at the bottom. There's so many different ways that we can adapt and also change the fit of this sweater to fit you and suit you perfectly. The pattern comes sized from extra small through to 5XL, and in the description below I'll put all the information for where you will find that pattern. And you will need to access the written pattern, which has charts and obviously the written pattern too, because all of the sizes are very, very different. So go ahead and find that pattern and then decide on the size that you're going to make. And you will also need to grab your materials, which we will go through together now. And just so you know as well, there are coordinating items to go with this. So we have a hat and we have mittens as well, and hopefully more in the pipeline coming soon. So make sure you look out for those, and once they're live, I will link those in the description too. To make the sweater, I have chosen to use a combination of this Mary Maxim Mellowspun DK and then also from Mary Maxim, their Prism yarn. Now this is the yarn that causes the magic in these things. So we don't have to change lots of different colours, the yarn does it for us. So we're only using 2 different yarns in these garments here. And they're both a DK weight and they're both 100% acrylic. And the colours that I'm using here today are sand, and then this one I believe is called succulent. Yes, it's called succulent. All the information again is in the description below about how much of each of these you'll need for each of the sizes, but please do bear in mind that if you're going to make different customizations with yours, like longer body, longer arms, etc., then you will need to make sure you order plenty of yarn to do that. Along with your yarn, you're going to need a 4.5mm crochet hook for the main body and a 3.5mm crochet hook for the ribbing if you choose to add it, or the hook sizes that match the gauge for you. Then you'll also need a pair of scissors and a needle for your end. So go grab all of your supplies and then come back to me with your pattern ready, having chosen the size that you're going to make, and we'll get started. Okay, so to begin our sweater, we are going to work this yoke section here, which is worked in rounds, as I say, in alternating colours, and as I showed you on the other one, it's 1 colour per round that we do. And the way that we do that, you can either work with the written pattern, which will tell you exactly how many single crochets to do and how many mosaic crochets to do, which we will cover in a minute, don't worry, or you can follow along with the chart. Now there's a different chart for each of the different sizes, because obviously your yoke is going to be very different depending on the size that you need, but I'm going to give you just a whistle-stop tour of how to read those charts, because for all of the sizes they're the same to a certain point. Now it may look really complicated, but if I just break it down for you and show you just how simple it is once you know, it's so easy to say, isn't it? It's easy once you know how, but I promise you we'll get there together. So what we're looking at here is the rounds that we're, oh, someone's commenting on my stuff, that's lovely. These are the rounds that we're making. So this part of the chart shows rounds 1 to 12. And this section here shows you what colour you're going to be using for that round. Remember I said each round just uses 1 colour of yarn. So you see the first 2 rounds we use A, then B, A, etc, etc. And then the important thing for here is, because we're working a yoke that gets bigger and bigger as we work it, we're going to increase in our stitches. To start with, some of these stitches don't exist. So anything in grey on this chart doesn't yet exist. So just ignore those. So you'll see on our first round, we've actually only got 1, 2, 3 and 4 stitches as our repeat. So we'll do a lot more than 4 stitches, but we will repeat it in sets of 4. And for overlay mosaic crochet charts, all we need to know is that every single stitch, so every box refers to a stitch, and every single stitch is a single crochet in the back loop only, unless it has an X in it. So we can see that these don't have an X in it, so the whole of round 1 isn't a mosaic double crochet, and the same for round 2, that's not mosaic double crochet either. It's only when we get to round 3 that we have an X in the box, and that X means that we do a mosaic double crochet, and when we get to that point I will show you how to do those. But these are the principles. All of our stitches are either a single crochet in the back loop only or a mosaic double crochet when we have an X. The other thing is when we get to somewhere that says 2X or 2SC, as you may see in some of the other parts of the chart, that means that we're going to increase there. We're going to work 2 stitches into that one, and again I'll show you how to do that when we get to them. But I thought if I just show you how the charts work, and then you can get yours ready by the side of you. And I would recommend that if you haven't printed them out, print them out or have them like on a tablet like this, because then you can zoom into them and you can keep your place and all this kind of stuff. Make it so that it's nice and big and nice and easy for you to see. But of course, as I said, you can also work along with the full written pattern as well, that tells you how many single crochets to work and how many mosaic double crochets to work. So once you're set to go, let's actually get some crochet done. So now on camera with you today, I'm going to be working the size small. So the numbers that I talk about will be for the size small, and then again make sure that you follow the numbers for the size that you're going to be making. But the principles are exactly the same. So to begin with, what we're going to do for all of our sizes is we're going to put a slip knot on the hook. And then our first round consists of foundation single crochet stitches. And the way that we make those is that we begin by chaining 2 and then working into the second chain from the hook. So the very first chain that you made, I'm going to go into that back bump there. And then I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull through. And now, whereas normally to make an actual single crochet you would just pull through both of those loops, now I'm actually going to yarn over and just pull through one, and then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through both of them. Now that's our first foundation single crochet made. And to make more, which we will definitely need to do, we are going to go into that chain that we made. So you remember we yarned over and we just pulled through one, that created a chain for us. And so now if we put our hook into that chain, yarn over and pull through, then we can yarn over and pull through one to make another chain, and then we can yarn over and pull through both to make our single crochet. And so now you've got another chain to work into. So then your next foundation single crochet goes into there, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. And so that's 3 made. And so all you need to do is continue working for as many as you need for the neckline of your size, just in this way. So for me that's 100. So I will go ahead and make all of those, and if you do the same, and then meet me back and we will get ready for working round 2. I now have my 100 stitches that I need, and what I'm now going to do is, making sure that I don't twist this, I'm going to slip stitch in the first stitch. So I'm attached to this last one and I'm going to slip stitch in the first stitch, but to the back loop only. So this back loop that I have here, I'm going to slip stitch in that to join, and I'm going to tug nice and tight on that to make sure that it's secure. And now make sure, just run your fingers all the way around to make sure that you haven't twisted that, because if you have and you carry on, you'll have a twisted neckband for the rest of all time. So note, we're all good on that one. Now then, we're ready, as the pattern tells us, to chain 1 and then begin our round 2. Now if you're working from the written pattern, you will see that it says a single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch around. And then the important thing for the written pattern then, from then onwards, all of our single crochets that are in the written pattern are worked in the back loop only. It would be a very big and messy pattern if it carried on saying back loop only for every single one. So just make sure that you know all of our single crochets now throughout the whole of the garment are in the back loop only. And if you're working from the charts, let's have a look and see what we do. So we've got round 2 is in A, as we are, And then we have no mosaic stitches for this one. Our stitch count remains the same because we haven't increased and we haven't got a change. We haven't got any of those grayed out suddenly appearing. So what we're going to be doing is working a single crochet in the back loop only of each of our stitches around. So then that looks like this. I've chained one, and then I'm literally just going to work a single crochet in the back loop of each of these stitches that I have all the way around. So tipping over, so see the V at the top of our stitch, we're going right to this back loop that we have here. So your stitch count will remain the same for round 2 here, and all you're going to be doing is working a single crochet in the back loop only of each of them. So work all the way around and then meet me back here with your yarn colour B ready to switch over to work round 3. So this is what our neckline should look like now at the end of round 2. Now I'm going to grab my yarn B, because if you're working in the written pattern, it will tell you to change to yarn B, or if you're looking at the chart, you'll see that round 3 has got B at the side of it here. So round 3, we need our B, and we can see that we're going to start working a mosaic double crochet stitch here. So let's join our yarn first and then talk about how we do that. Into the back loop of the first stitch of round 2, we are going to join our next colour. So we've completed that last stitch, we're yarning over and we're doing our joining to the next round in the new colour. And then you're going to pull really tight there on yarn A, and your new working yarn, your yarn B, you're going to chain 1. Now looking at the written pattern or at our chart here, we can see that the only one that we do a mosaic double crochet in is the second of our sets of 4. So we're going to work a single crochet in the back loop of the first, then we're going to work a mosaic double crochet in the next, and then a single crochet in the back loop of the next 2. And we'll repeat that all the way around. So we said a single crochet in our first stitch, so that's our back loop only. And then we're going to work a mosaic double crochet in the next stitch. Now what does that mean? That means that we're going to yarn over and work a double crochet down 2 rounds below. Now the fact that we've been working in these back loop only means that we've left this front loop here open. So that means we can yarn over and go down into the front loop only of the stitch 2 rounds below, and we can work a double crochet in that. And that is all there is to a mosaic double crochet stitch. And the stitch behind it remains unworked because it's accounted for with that stitch. So this back loop that we have here, we're not going to do anything to that one there. Then what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet in the back loop of the next 2. There's 1 and there's 2. And so that is our 4 stitch repeat that we're now going to work all the way around for round 3. So we did a single crochet in the back loop only. Then we're going to work a mosaic double crochet stitch. So we're going to make sure that we don't do it in this one. We're going to go down into 2 rounds below, and we're going to go into that front loop, scoop up, and then work a double crochet into it. And then we ignore that stitch that's behind it, and then we work a single crochet in the back loop only of the next 2. And that's our second repeat of it. And we just keep going all the way around. So we'll do one more set together. We single crochet in 1. We then mosaic double crochet 2 rounds below in that front loop that we have ready. And then we single crochet in the back loop of the next 2. Now this round and a few of the other rounds kind of break the rule in that they work this mosaic double crochet into the opposite color. Most of the time you are going to be working a mosaic double crochet into the same color, because most of this we are going to now be alternating A, B, A, B, and that will become clear when we get to the next set of our mosaic stitches. So go ahead and finish our round 3 working that 4 stitch repeat, and then come back to me when we're ready to change back to yarn A and work round 4 together. So this is what our round 3 now looks like when we finished, and for round 4 we are going to join to the back loop only of that first stitch and change our color. Now the other great thing about these patterns is that we don't have to break our yarn at all. You can just carry your yarn on the inside of your sweater. So yarn over with that working tail of yarn A, and then pull tight on yarn B to secure it, and then chain 1, and you're ready to start round 4 with your colour A. Now in the written pattern it tells us we do 3 single crochet in the back loop only, and then a mosaic double crochet. So let's double check against our chart, so if you're using that. So round 4 we've got A, and indeed yes, we don't have any X's in the box, even though it's a different colour. Don't worry about that at all, because that's because of the mosaic stitches we're going to be working on round 5. So just, unless it has an X in the box, you just work a single crochet in the colour that you've got attached right now. So we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of 1, 2 and 3, and then mosaic double crochet in the next. So that is our 4 stitch repeats all the way around for round 4. So let's do that together now. We're going to single crochet in the back loop only of 1, 2 and then 3, and then we're going to mosaic double crochet in the next stitch. So remember, we go 1, 2 rounds down and into that front loop that we have there. So that gets a mosaic double crochet in it, and then we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of the next 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we mosaic double crochet in the front loop only of this one down here. So that's our 4 stitch repeat for here, and hopefully by now you can already see that this actually is really quite straightforward. Once you know the principles and the rules of either reading the pattern or the chart, all we need to do is just know where to work that single crochet in the back loop only and where to work a mosaic double crochet. So work away on round 4, then we'll change our yarn to work round 5, and then round 6 we'll have our first increase, so we'll definitely be doing that together. Right then, to begin round 5 we know that we need to change to B, and then we're going to begin with the mosaic double crochet, single crochet in the back loop, mosaic double crochet, single crochet in the back loop. So that's a really simple, actually 2 stitch repeat for this round. So what we're going to do, I've just finished my round 4, and I'm going to slip stitch in the back loop only of that very first stitch, grab my yarn B, wherever it may be, I can't see over the top of this, here we go, grab my yarn B and then pull it through, pull tightly down on yarn A, and then do a chain 1, and I find it works well to do that quickly so that you get a nice neat join there. So then we need to work a mosaic double crochet in the first, so down into that same colour 2 rounds below, and work that mosaic double crochet, then a single crochet in the back loop only of the next, and that's all we need to repeat all the way around. So mosaic double crochet in the next and a single crochet in the back loop of the next. Work that all the way around, and then when you get back to the start we need to change colour to A, ready to work round 6. Here I am then at the end of round 5, and I'm going to slip stitch with yarn A so that I'm joined and ready to work round 6. Now I chain 1. Now for round 6, you'll see in the written pattern or here on our chart, we have got A, and we're going to work a single crochet in 1, 2, 3, and then 2 mosaic double crochet in the next, which will be our increase, which is why then on our next round here, we've got an extra white stitch that we have here and less grey stitches. So we're going to work 1, 2, 3 single crochet and then 2 mosaic double crochet in the next stitch. So I've chained 1 ready, and I'm going to work 1, 2, 3 single crochet, and then in this one I'm going to work 2 mosaic double crochet, both into that same stitch we have there. So that's 1, and then working into the same one, that's 2. So then that's our stitch repeat for this round. We then work a single crochet in 1, 2, 3, and then 2 mosaic double crochet in the next stitch. So just work that repeats all the way around, And then just checking ahead, yep, round 7 we're using yarn B. So when you get to the end of this round, switch over to your yarn B and we'll be ready for round 7. So this is what we should look like now at the end of round 6. Now round 7, we can see that we're working in B, and we're going to do a mosaic double crochet, a single crochet, mosaic double crochet, and then single crochet in 2, because now we have a stitch repeat of 5 because we did our increases on the last round. So mosaic double crochet, single crochet, mosaic double crochet, single crochet in 2. And when I say single crochet, obviously I mean single crochet in the back loop only. So I've chained 1 and I'm good to go, and our mosaic double crochet is going to line up with the 1-2 rounds below, but in the nice new part of the colour, which is very, very exciting. Then we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of the next, mosaic double crochet in the next, and then single crochet in the next 2. And so that's our repeat for round 7. Off we go with our mosaic double crochet, single crochet, mosaic double crochet, and then single crochet in 2. So, nearly. So work that repeat around and then join with yarn A, ready to start our next round. And then once you've done that, you know absolutely everything that you need to know to complete the entire yoke. But get to there and we'll just recap over everything that you need to know for the rest of the yoke, and then off you go, and then we'll be ready to split for the sleeves. So that's round 7 complete, and I'm set up ready to begin round 8 in yarn A. And if we just take a look, you'll see in the written pattern or here on the chart, A for round 8, and we're going to work 1, 2, 3 single crochet and then mosaic double crochet in the next 2. And that literally is all there is to it. So we're going to carry on working through the pattern or through the chart. We're looking out for when we need our increases. So next increase will be round 12, where we work 2 mosaic double crochet into the stitch that one corresponds to. And then the only pieces of notes that you'll need for the rest of the yoke is the fact that some of the increases involve single crochets as opposed to mosaic double crochets, and all that you will do differently there is work 2 single crochet into the back loop only as opposed to working those mosaic double crochet stitches. And then the other thing to look out for is that some of the rounds actually just continue working in colour A. So you'll have a few of the rounds that you work 2 rounds of colour A, and then you switch back to B, and then it goes A, B, A, B. So just look out for those. It's all detailed within the written pattern and within the charts. And the charts, you'll see I've broken up into small sections so it doesn't seem a huge great big chart to use for the entire yoke. You can print off each individual section and then just tick them off as you go. So go for it. Get to the end of your yoke, and your final round, all of the yokes will end in a B. And so once you've got to that final round of the yoke, come back to me and I'll show you what we do to do a magic bit of shaping for the back and then split for the sleeves. Now here we have the yoke completed for my size, and I'm at the point in the pattern where it says to work the back short rows. Now what these short back rows are going to do, if you've never tried them before, is it's going to help tip our front of the sweater forwards. So it's going to just lower the front of the neckline so it's not up against the top of your neck, and just really subtly pull it downwards and then lengthen the back but not the front. This is a really good tip for helping with the fit of any sweater that is constructed in this top-down way. So feel free to use this in other patterns that you're using as well. It's really easy to add. So I have just finished my last stitch there of my final round of the yoke, and I'm going to slip stitch with yarn A into that first stitch there. I'm going to pull tight and chain 1, as we have been doing, and then I'm actually going to break my yarn B, because we're not going to need yarn B up until we get to the body stitches. So just pop that aside for a minute. Now you'll see in the written pattern that it tells you need to single crochet in the back loop only for a number of stitches for the back now, and that's a different number for different sizes. And you'll also see that there's a note in the pattern saying that these numbers for the back don't match the numbers for the front, because what I've done in this design is that I've pushed the front forwards. I've made the front just a little bit bigger to give you a better fit. Now this is not hard and fast because we are all completely different sizes, and lots of us will need more room at the front and less room at the back, and vice versa. So I've just gone for like a happy medium, but if you would like to adjust yours further, there are instructions in the pattern for how to do that. But for the purposes of this, I am going to have just an inch difference in my front and back, and so for my size it tells me to single crochet in the back loop only, without grabbing yarn B, Hannah, in the back loop only of 75. So just do the number that's right for you. So I've done those 75 stitches. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to break my yarn, because these short rows, they need to all be worked from the right side facing. So pull that yarn through. So then we go back to our first stitch here, and for our second short row, we're going to join to that first stitch. We're going to chain one, and then we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to work one single crochet in the back loop only of each of these stitches. So your stitch count here will remain the same. So now here we are at the end of that, and I'm going to break my yarn again. And for our third row of these short back rows, we're going to do exactly the same as we did on that second one. We're going to grab our yarn, join it to that first stitch again with our right side facing, and then we're going to chain one and then work across here a single crochet in the back loop only of each of them. And then when you get to the end of this one, don't break your yarn, because we are going to carry on and split for our sleeves. Here we are then at the end of that third row of the short back rows, and what we're now going to do is split for the sleeves. So we're going to, for this size, and it's different numbers for different sizes, for this size I'm going to chain 10, and then once you've done that underarm chain of however many you need it to be, we're then going to skip the amount of number of stitches that it tells you to in the pattern for your sleeve. Now for this size, I need to skip 45 of them. And then once you've skipped those 45 stitches, we're going to start working in the next stitch along in the back loop only, and then this is going to become our front. So we start working a single crochet in there, and then we can flip over so that we haven't got all of that bundled up in my hand there. And that's our first stitch there of the front, and for this size we need 85 stitches. So that's 1 and then 2, 3 and so on, all in that back loop only. So work away for the number of stitches you need for the front for your size. Now we've done those stitches for the front, we need to do another underarm chain so it will match the chain you did on the other side. So for me it's 10. And then the number of stitches that we have left up until our first one here again should match the same number that you had for the other sleeve. So for me that's 45. So just check before you join. Then when you're happy you've got the right amount of stitches there for your sleeve, you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch to join, and then we're going to chain one, and we're continuing with this yarn A for this next round. The first round of the body is going to be a single crochet in the back loop only of each of our stitches around, and I'm now going to start using a stitch marker for the first stitch of each round now, because that will help us stop getting lost. So working a single crochet in the back loop only of each of our stitches around, and then when you come to your chains, where's my first chain here, we're going to work a single crochet in each of those chains. So I've got 10 chains there, so I'll do a single crochet in each of those and then continue working in the back loop only of the rest of the stitches around. So go ahead and finish this round, and then meet me back with your yarn B ready to switch over and start working the next round. Now I got overexcited there and told you to meet me back with yarn B, but actually the next round is in yarn A again. So sorry about that. We're going to slip stitch into the first, we're going to chain one, and then we're going to single crochet in the back loop only of each of our stitches around. But what I would say at this point is to first of all move your stitch marker, and secondly, now I would try this on. Now, if you're making for yourself, happy days, that's nice and easy. But if you're making for someone else, if they know that you're making it for them, I really think this is a great point to try it on, even if it's a surprise, if you want them to close their eyes, because it is so worth it to make sure that we get this fit right. You'll see here now that when we fold it over, we have got our back slightly raised up because we've done those short rows at the back, and we have got our armholes here. Now, these are for standardized measurements because there's no other way of me doing it, unfortunately. But we are not all standard measurements and sizes. So what we can do, if you need extra room on your armholes here, there's absolutely no problem. Make sure, first of all, that you have blocked your yoke to the size it needs to be, so by the gauge in the pattern, because that can be all that it needs to just adjust these and make them the right size for you. But if that hasn't worked and you do need a little bit more space here, don't worry. What we can then do is undo what we've just done for splitting for the sleeves and just add more short rows for the back. Just carry on working more rows, and that will increase the number of stitches that you then work around your armhole when we get to then adding the sleeves. So if you find that they're just a bit snug, or indeed if you find they're too big, no problem, take out one or two of your rows there, or just don't do them at all. Entirely up to you. So that's one top tip to do now before you go any further, and then get to the point where you're like, oh, I wish I'd checked it. So go check that now, very, very important. Then carry on with this round in yarn A, and then when you finish this round, we are going to slip stitch into our first stitch and join with our yarn B. So now here I am, I'm joining yarn B, I'm chaining one and pulling tight just as we did before, and then I'm going to work a single crochet in the back loop only of each of our stitches all the way around in this yarn B. And then of course leave your yarn A as a working yarn at the back, just as we did with the mosaic section around the yoke, because we're going to need that for the next round. So then at the end of that round, we are going to switch back to our yarn A once I've untangled myself. So I'm going to go into the back loop only of that first stitch and secure our yarn A. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to take my stitch marker out of there. And now this round is going to be another set of mosaic stitches, and it's really lovely and straightforward. We're going to work a mosaic double crochet in the first stitch, and then a single crochet in the back loop only of the next. And that's all we need to do all the way around. So just nice and simple, mosaic double crochet and then a single crochet back loop only. Just repeat that all the way around, and then at the end of this round you are going to slip stitch in this same colour, because we're then going to be using A again to start repeating a number of rounds of back loop only single crochets. So then I just wanted to show you on this black version that I have, I'm holding it the same way around as you will have your project here. So that's that first round that we've just done there of those mosaic stitches. And then you see we work a single crochet back loop only for 1, 2, 3 rounds. And then we repeat that whole process again. We're going to do a round of B in a single crochet back loop only, then our mosaic round, and then another 3. And then we do another round of B, and then we do our mosaic round. And then once you've done that, I mean, obviously you can carry on doing that for as much of the sweater as you would like to, but at that point I chose to stop on mine. And then from that point onwards, you're going to be working a single crochet in the back loop only of each stitch around, but we're going to work in continuous rounds now, because we don't need to worry about joining and about working any mosaic stitches and all that kind of jazz. So when you get to where you want to stop working mosaic stitches, you then can just work a single crochet in the back loop only in continuous rounds. And it's all detailed in the pattern as to like various different lengths that you might like to do, but you can absolutely work as many rounds as you would like to until you're ready to either finish your sweater or add the bottom rib. So when you are ready to add your sleeves, as you can see, I have stopped working my body on this one at the moment in order to show you how to do these sleeves. So there, as you can see from the images, there are lots of different options for how you want to do your sleeves. So I'm going to just start you off because they all use the same principle, and then you can decide the length and the cuff and all of that. So this one, as you see, I have done a short sleeve here and then a short little rib. Then the black version that I have done has a long sleeve, a full length sleeve with a long rib that matches the length of the bottom rib that I have done. And then there is this version, which has a medium kind of 3/4 sleeve with absolutely no rib on it at all. So there are lots of different ways that you can work these sleeves that will suit you. So whatever length of sleeve that you would like to make, they all start in the same way. So we have our sleeve opening here, and what we're going to do is we're going to work all the way around this opening here, and we're going to be working single crochets in the back loop only, and that is it for our sleeve. So you can actually begin anywhere you like around the sleeve hole here, but I'm going to begin in this first chain of the underarm chain that we have, and I'm going to join my yarn here. Chain 1 just to begin us off, and then work a single crochet in each of these chains, so the other part of the chain, because the other side of it has obviously been used for our body stitches. So one of those for each of your underarm chains. And then depending on which sleeve you're going to do first, you may well come across the short back rows first, or you might come across them at the end of your sleeve. But when you do come across them, these short rows that we have done here, I did 3 as per the pattern, but if you did more, then obviously you will have more stitches to go here. I'm going to do a single crochet into the side of these 3 rows. So then when we've done those, we're then going to work a single crochet in the back loop only of each of these stitches. And so we do that all the way around the armhole. Then when you've completed all of those stitches around, I'm going to start working in continuous rounds. So we go into the back loop only of that first stitch there, and we work a single crochet. Now I have this habit of working 3 stitches so nothing comes undone, and then I count backwards and then put my stitch marker in the front loop only of that stitch there. All we now need to do is keep working a single crochet in the back loop only until your sleeve gets to either the length you want it to finally be if you're not adding a cuff, or the length you'd like it to be before you add the cuff. Now that can be absolutely any length. In the pattern it's detailed for long sleeves, so that's the maximum I would recommend. But if you want to stop before that, then absolutely go for it. And then once your sleeve's ready to put a cuff on, if you want to add it, then meet me back here and I'll show you how to do that. And that will also follow the same principle as to how we add the bottom band for the bottom of the sweater. So then here we are. I've done as many rounds as I want to for the length of this sleeve, and I've taken my larger hook out because I'm now going to switch to my smaller hook in order to do this ribbing. Now I'm going to take this stitch marker out and I am going to slip stitch into that one to join there. Now what we're going to do is add a join as you go rib cuff that is exactly the same method that we're going to use for the bottom of the sweater when I finally get there with this one. And you can work as many stitches or as few as you like for all of these ribs. Now I'm going to do a short one to match the side that I've already done on this one, but for the longer sleeves and for the bottom of the sweater I recommended doing 14 stitches worth, but you can adjust that absolutely to any length that you would like it to be. But the principle is exactly the same regardless of how many stitches you want to use for yours. So to start with, we're going to chain your chosen amount, Now I've chained 5 there because then when I work back along there, that's going to end up giving me 4 stitches. So you always want to chain one more than the amount of stitches that you ultimately want to have. And then working back into them from the second chain from the hook, I'm going to work a single crochet in each of them along. So there's 1, 2, that's 3, and 4. Now when we arrive back, what we're going to do is actually just join to the stitches of the last round that we've just worked there. So this first time that we arrive back, we're already joined to this first stitch, so we're going to just join to the next stitch. So we do a slip stitch in there, and then all we need to do is turn, but you don't have to turn the whole thing, you're just going to turn so that you can then work back into these stitches. And we're going to work into the back loop only of these now, and we're going to work a single crochet in the back loop only of each of the stitches that we have here. And now the last stitch, you can either work into the back loop or into the full part of the stitch, entirely up to you how you would like to do that. Then I'm going to turn, then I'll chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet in the back loop only of all of my stitches. So there's my 4. Now we're back at this last round, and from this point onwards, when I get to here, I'm going to slip stitch in 2 stitches. So that's 1 and that's 2. Then we turn, and then we're going to work in the back loop only of these 4 stitches that I have, a single crochet in each of those. And then we turn, and you just carry on repeating that, chaining 1 and then single crochet in the back loop only. We've arrived back here, so now we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 and then turn, and so on. So we work this all the way around the edge of your sleeve or the edge of your sweater bottom, and then when you get back to here, we're going to join this with a slip stitch seam. So meet me back when you filled up all of your stitches here, and then we'll just join that together. Here we are then, I have got all the way around and I have slip stitched into there, and now all we're going to do is join these 2 lines together. We've got 4 stitches in each, and I'm just going to slip stitch in this one and then across into the corresponding stitch from that first row that we did. So just slip stitch in there and then line up the next one. And the next one, and however many stitches you've got, you basically just carry on until you've joined them all together. And then when you've done that, you can break your yarn, but my scissors are nowhere near, of course. Let me grab them. There we go, and we have now joined our rib and we are ready to weave in that end. Now, as I say, the bottom band is worked in exactly the same way. So once you finish your length of your sweater, you then carry on changing to your smaller hook, of course, as we did there. And then let me just show you where we start this neckband here. I'm going to turn around so that we have the back facing us and we have the right side, obviously. And where we very first began is going to be in this back corner. This is the back shoulder here, and this is the best place for our seam of our rib to be. So if you're going to join a rib to the neckline, we will begin in this stitch here. And for this one, again, you can make it as long or as short as you like, but I'm going to make mine match my sleeve ones here. So I will chain 5. And we do exactly the same as we did for the sleeve cuffs. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each along. And then we just work into all of the stitches of the neckline here. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next one just for our first one. Remember, we did 1 there, and then single crochet in the back loop only of our 4 stitches. And then we're ready to turn. And then carry on as we did around those sleeve ribs, just with a single crochet in the back loop only of each of them. And then each time we get back to the neckline now, we are going to slip stitch in 2 stitches. So we have our next stitch here, oops, and there. So then just carry on all the way around your neckline as we did the sleeve rib, and then you join in exactly the same way with a slip stitch seam, which is not very easy to say. Thank you so much for joining me. I cannot wait to see your sweaters and hopefully your hats and mittens and whatever else you make within this collection. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here with me. Please do consider subscribing and liking and all of those things that help me build my channel. And I will see you again soon.